Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday edition of Off the Wall with Cody. I'm your host, Cody Wall, here on ASTV. Last week, we had talked about my experience coming back from the brick tournament. A little bit later on, we're going to have our guest today, Mark Kincade, come on and tell about his experience. Obviously, him helping us there in Edmonton with ASTV at the Brick Invitational. But also last week, talked a little bit about some of the upcoming events and some of the stuff that ASTV is working towards. I do have to make a correction here. Unfortunately, it looks like due to technical difficulties or technical issues, we are no longer going to be covering the upcoming Canadian Ball Hockey Association Junior National Championship that's going to be taking place in Winnipeg. For everybody who's still interested, it's going to be taking place between this upcoming weekend, July 28th, running till July 31st. Their website to get more information is Canada Ball Hockey, all one word, .ca. But got a great show coming up here. We're going to talk about some more things that ASTV has started kind of dipping their toes in, as well as I mentioned, we're going to have Mark Kincade come on just after our first commercial break, and he's going to talk about how he got involved with ASTV as well as his experience joining us in Edmonton at the West Edmonton Mall. But we're going to send it to our first commercial break and come back for that interview with Mark in just a moment.
Why go solar? Solar is better than ever. Our revolutionary design and inverter equipment with the latest in solar panel technology for the ultimate in-home and business security. That's right, I said security. Grid security and security of your home are linked. Fortify your future today with a battery backup system. No maintenance, quiet running. Did you know in Manitoba, grid-connected, off-grid, and battery backup systems are 100% right off in the year you purchase for any company or farm? Do you want to back up your internet, keep your tills running, and the lights on? We can install a system that is right for you with battery backup fully capable of taking on all those essential loads and keeping you running. When you call our experts at Evolve Green, ask about getting your free energy audit today. Call or email today to find out what system works best for you. 1-866-5EVOLVE or support@evolvegreen.ca. Also, be sure to check out our website at www.evolvegreen.ca.
All right, everyone. As mentioned, coming on is a guy who I got a chance to get to know quite well while we were in Edmonton. So well that if you ask him, he may be able to tell you that sometimes at night I like to just snore. Here we have Mark Kincade, my roommate for the better part of July there. Mark, how are you today?
I'm great, Cody. It's good to see your face again. Boy, it seems like it's been quite a while, but it really hasn't.
Yeah, like you said, it's good to see your face. It's been a little while. Last time we saw each other, we were looking a little bit more tired just from having a fun couple of weeks of hockey there, but just a long couple of weeks.
Yeah, there were some long days, that's for sure. But wow, what a great experience. Like we covered 48, 49 games or something like that, and saw all these fantastic hockey players. But yeah, when you're up at 5:45 and not climbing into bed until close to midnight, it adds up over a couple of weeks, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, it added up and actually ended up being a little bit closer to 80 games that we were there for, just factoring in both tournaments.
Yeah, the 2 weeks. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, double that. It's but yeah, it was just a great experience. I learned so much from you and Glenn and everyone that was there, Rory, Tarsi, Mike. It was just wow. Getting to know how to properly run the camera, get in some good zooms in the corners, and then getting to know how to cut the clips out for the highlights and rerunning those, and just watching your magic that you do as you're producing is just unbelievable. Anyone listening, you're looking at the guy Cody Wall that just makes the magic happen on ASTV. He can just sit there and just put all these different clips together and camera angles together on the fly, and while he's doing that, he's taking care of the score clock and he's doing all this other stuff. It just amazes me how Cody does this all. He says he's the magician.
I appreciate that there, Mark. You definitely helped me out immensely. As you mentioned, you were doing a couple of different jobs there in Edmonton. You got to work the camera. Like you said, you got a chance to learn to run replays. And you also did a daily recap show. So you were definitely a busy guy out there in Edmonton as well. But was this your first time visiting the West Edmonton Mall for the tournament?
No, I've been to the West Edmonton Mall before, just on vacation when my kids were really little. But I think maybe twice I've been there before the Brick. I've never been to the Brick before. I didn't know about it until after my son had become involved in hockey, and when he got involved, he was too old for the Brick, so
right.
Had a chance to participate in it or anything like that. So I heard about it later on, but had never been there. I didn't realize how big it actually was, and how entertaining it was.
That kind of brings me into my next question. Like before getting asked to help with the Brick tournament, you said that you'd heard a little bit about it, but how much did you hear about the Brick Invitational before, and did it kind of surpass your expectations?
It was when my son got into Pee Wee, he made the Saskatoon Citywide team, Saskatoon Express, and there was a few players on that team that had participated in the Brick. So that's when I first heard about it, and I still really didn't know what it was because I wasn't around the hockey community a lot. So when they talked about the Brick, the Brick. I just thought it was just a tournament somewhere. I didn't even know it was in Edmonton. I didn't know that the Brick is actually sponsored by the Brick store, and that I just thought it was a nickname for something. And it really surpassed my expectations. Like I said, I was expecting just a tournament. I wasn't expecting a tournament from all over North America. These kids. I guess this year it was 10 and 11 year olds, but then we also had, what would they be, 12, 13-year-olds that were there?
There were, I believe, might have been a couple of 12-year-olds from late birthdays. But yeah, like you said, most of them were 10, 11-year-olds. So
yeah. So being able to actually experience it and see what it's all about, being able to walk down in that hallway and see all these kids' names from all the past years, including NHL stars, WHL, just all these famous names down there that have been involved with this Brick over the years. It was the 33rd annual, I think, this year. So 33 years this has been going on, and a lot of people don't know about it for whatever reason. And I sure hope that now that ASTV is part of the Brick family, we'll be broadcasting it everywhere. Hopefully it gets known that much more, because it is an event. I tell you, if you're ever in Edmonton around that time, go check it out. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, like you mentioned, ASTV now kind of being part of the Brick family going forward, a little bit more clarity will be coming on, how I believe we will be continuing to work with the Brick tournament, but I believe a little bit more clarity will be coming into August. Everybody after this big tournament kind of wanting to take some time off. I know Glenn, our manager, he's been taking some time off, and I can imagine all those tournament organizers are as well, taking some time off, getting some well-deserved rest and recovery.
Yes, absolutely. I tell you, when I came home, I think I passed out for a week. It was just I was mentally, physically exhausted. Because it's a lot to take in, and when you're on your feet for 12, 14, 16 hours a day, doing this, that, and everything, it just takes a lot out of you, and but well worth it. And it just, every day we'd go back to the room, you and I, like I heard you say, we were roommates. Yeah, we spent almost every waking hour together and sleeping. So Cody and I got to know each other pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're involved that much in it, it wasn't just, go and do some things and then go take a break. And it was, once we were there, and we would switch off jobs. You didn't. You stayed as producer because none of us could do your magic. But I know a lot of us other guys were just, we'd go from the camera to color commentary or working on highlights, but there was never really a time to just sit and reflect on it until we got back to the hotel room, and then it was just kind of and then pass out.
Definitely.
Up to Cody's alarm clock in the morning at 5:45 in the morning.
Yeah, definitely some early mornings. And I definitely felt bad. Obviously, I got to produce every single game, but kind of sitting was a bit of a benefit. I kind of felt bad for you at times when we had like 10 games in a day, and you had done the camera for a good portion of them, standing on your feet, like you said. Definitely kudos to you. And kind of the way you were able to kind of pick up on all the different things. Like obviously we had talked off air, and obviously back in Edmonton, this was your first time kind of working with the highlights. So you're able to pick up on that and a bunch of new things. Like you mentioned, you got a chance to learn throughout this experience.
Yeah. And there's so much more now coming to learn that I'm excited too, that we were going to get the actual net cams going for the Brick tournament, but unfortunately they just weren't working exactly what we wanted to do. So that's going to be coming. And now we got we are partnered with this new program,
Stats Track.
Stats Track. And wow, we're going to be able to, like, on the fly, just like the NHL, be able to show the stats as they're happening, zone times, shots, where they're from who. It's just unbelievable. It just blows my mind that we're able to do stuff like that. But it's going to be a learning curve again. I'm going to have to start practicing with that. Well, all of us will have to. And then the newest thing is this score clock that I think it's 12 different score clocks, including all these sports, not only hockey, but soccer, and anything that we have and can supply, and be able to have it right there for any game that we're in charge of, that we're covering. It just wow, the stuff that ASTV is doing right now is just, it's unbelievable and exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting, all the stuff that we're trying to kind of expand to, like you said, never really staying complacent, just always trying to continue. Obviously, it'd be a hard question to answer because there were so many interesting things that happened at the Brick tournament. But Starting with like you mentioned, the wall with every player to ever play in the brick tournament on the wall, leading up to the dressing room, right to that fun Brickley game. After experiencing this tournament, what kind of stood out to you of everything?
Seeing Austin Matthews' name and just thinking that I'm in the same place that he was when he was like 10 years old and playing, and this was his start, and just realizing how human these people are. Like, they all start somewhere. And so being able to go and film and talk to these kids that are playing this year while we were there, it was just it was exciting, but it was humbling, and it was a realization that, you know, any one of these kids in, you know, 8 years or so, we could be seeing them on TV, on major networks playing, you know, pro hockey, wherever it may be. And just, it was really eye-opening, and it was exciting. Just being able to be a part of something that big, and be at this be a part of the start of these kids' hockey career, and producing something that they will always have. They can always go back. They will always have ASTV videos to go back, watch their game when they were 10 years old. If they were interviewed, go back and watch their interview, you know, be able to scan the crowd, because I tried to get as much as the crowd as possible to. I'd zoom in on them because they're a whole part of the experience. So I try to get them in there as well, so that later on down the year, hey, there's my mom, you know, look, you know, there's my dad, look how young they look, and just stuff like that. Or there's my little brother, or there's my little sister. Or just, I was really proud to be a part of that process, where I'm making memories for these kids that'll always be with them. And that's always been my kind of passion for this, is just being able to create that for individuals.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That was definitely a good, getting a chance to understand what we were working, and what we were kind of working for. The future of hockey, I definitely agree, was a real great part of the whole process. Definitely something I enjoyed. Getting a chance to talk to some of the team representatives and tournament coordinators definitely was another thing that was kind of eye-opening. And, you know, they kind of would toss out a bunch of fun facts throughout, just because, you know, obviously as they're talking and things are happening, you know, records, or maybe not necessarily records, but just fun facts kind of popped up throughout the tournament, such as the fact that I believe there was 10 first round picks from this year that had played in the brick previously. But what were some of the neat fun facts that stood out to you?
Well, other than seeing the names down the wall of the players that have moved on to play pro hockey, just talking to some of my guests that I had on some of the behind the scenes stuff, and what's involved with putting this brick tournament on. Talking to Dale McMillan, I think was his name, the photographer for the brick. He actually does like the photography for the NHL players. He makes the NHL players sports cards that you collect in your collection and buy. And here I'm talking to this guy, and just, you know, stuff like that, like running into NHL players that I had no idea, because I'm not a hockey guy that knows everyone, knows all these players, but realizing that, yeah, for the last half an hour I've been standing around talking to this ex-NHL player that played, you know, such and such a team, and I'm like, what, who, what? And yeah, that was, you know, so and so. And just, you know, just it was it was stuff like that was just kind of mind blowing, and then coming back and doing a search on the internet of who these people were. I'm like, ooh, oh wow, geez, I was this close to greatness.
Yeah, you're bumping elbows with guys.
Yeah,
You know, do a little digging after, definitely.
yeah,
Leaves you a little starstruck, or
yeah,
can.
yeah, it is. And thanks to you and everyone else for helping me uh, through this. Like I know I came to you a few times. I said, "Well, who's that?" And you would tell and you would tell me so that I knew, that I wasn't gonna, blurt out something dumb or something like that. But no, that was no, that was just part of the excitement of it. That kind of stuff stood out to me. The support for it, realizing how much it costs for these kids to be involved with it, and making their way from wherever they're coming from in North America all the way to little old Edmonton, Alberta, and being here for 2 weeks basically, maybe even longer, hearing about the different flights that got canceled or changed, or luggage that got lost, equipment that got lost, and stuff like that, and individuals coming together and making sure these kids have equipment and are able to participate, and making sure the people that their luggage was lost, I think it was a coach, and this is everyone coming together, making sure everyone has a great time. And even though they're on different teams from different parts of North America, they just were all one big family. And yeah, there was good competition. Everyone wanted to win, but the attitudes were just, hey, it's special to be here, enjoy it, and just help everyone else enjoy it. There was no, I didn't see one, I don't even know how to call it, like snide remark or anything like that. Like it was just all good hockey and a great atmosphere from the parents and from the kids themselves. Like 10 years old, and they had the maturity of some adults. Honestly, like they really showed their true colors. And if you go back and watch some of the interviews, listen to these kids, it's like, man, this is coming from a 10-year-old kid. Wow, it's just the stuff like that was impressive and stuck with me.
Yeah, it's a great breakdown there. I would agree. There was a lot more camaraderie. There really wasn't any bad blood. I mean, yeah, typical while you're in the midst of a play, you maybe push and shove, but after every game, like you said, there was such good teamwork. Everybody coming together. You saw, because obviously these kids are young. The losing team, on a couple occasions, there were some guys who, were pretty displeased and, emotional. But you saw the winning team then come over and console their counterpart. And that was something you definitely wouldn't always see in, as the kids grow older in sport.
Yeah, it becomes more competitive, more about, just them, or can get more like that, and you don't see that, but no, not in the Spirit tournament. They were quite mature, quite sympathetic, like you had said, towards the other team, whether they won or lost, or had a bad game or had a good game. It was just, they were there for each other, and it's just, wow, that many games, that many kids. There was not one fight. There was not one where the refs had to just, okay, go settle down, guys. There was nothing like that. It was
Right.
good, hard playing hockey, and no chirping either. I'm sure there was chirping, but not the loud chirping that you tend to hear, in the junior ages and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and midget ages. It was good, clean, fun hockey. And the parents as well. I know I had mentioned it before, but Connecticut that won the tournament, right? They were ones that their fans, their parents. Wow, what just composure. Like they hands down they had a good team. Like just unbelievable. I was talking to Theo about it, about just how they just seem so organized and know exactly where each other are. And every game they played was great. I don't think they lost once. But in the one game, they got up 4-0 fairly early on. And once that was, 4-0, things just kind of quieted down. The parents, yeah, they'd still, good job, way to go, guys. But there was no, just and ringing the bells and stuff like that. There was none of that. The kids, same thing. They didn't just go all around and start high-fiving and that. They'd score, they'd turn around, they'd come back, get set up, and ready to go again. And they'd play hard, and they'd still want to score. But there was no over-the-top, hey, we're just going to
showboating.
Yeah, it was just perfect. Perfect for hockey parents and for the kids. It just that just made me smile and made my day knowing that is still part of hockey. That's being taught. It's not it's not being forgotten. It's not just go out and get as many goals as you possibly can. You need to showcase yourself. This is no, it's like good job parents for the Connecticut team. Yeah, for sure.
As mentioned before, we got to spend a lot of time as roomies in Edmonton, which meant we got a chance to get to know each other a bit.
Yep.
When we come back from this next commercial break, we're going to talk about how you got involved with ASTV, as well as what you have been and will be continuing to do with ASTV going forward.
Great. Yeah.
All right. So now turning our attention to how you got started with ASTV. Before you were manning the cameras in Edmonton, I believe you were recording and posting videos of your son Trey's home games with Indigenous Hockey Academy. What made you start doing that there, Mark?
Yeah, like you said, my son signed with the newly formed Indigenous Sports Academy this past season. They were not in a league because they're just going through the trial run. They are now, I'm happy to say, been accepted into the CSS HL League. So good job, Eagles. Trey signed with them as a goalie, and a lot of these kids are from all over Canada, from Ontario, BC, Manitoba. They're just from all over Canada. And here it's based in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. So that's, how are you going to watch your kids when you're that far away? And I know as a parent, I like watching my kid. It's, I like to see the successes and, stuff like that. So I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna live stream these games on the Indigenous Sports Academy. If it's all right with the team manager and that, which I checked, and he said, yeah, fine. So I just started filming, and the people were really enjoying it, that they could actually see their kids playing. And then another parent who's done some commentating before, he started helping me out, and he started doing play-by-play, and I was doing color. So it just kind of evolved like that. So every game we started doing that, and slowly but surely we get better and better, and started zooming in a bit and stuff like that. Never done it before, but the reaction of the parents was great, and so we just kept doing it. And then moving over to how I got involved with ASTV was the Eagles had gone to Manitoba, and they were playing the Pilot Mound Buffaloes, right? Buffaloes. And I wasn't able to go, and no one wanted to film. Everyone's, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to, mess anything up. But nobody wanted to live stream it. So then someone said, well, I think they're live streaming it on some show called ASTV. I'm like, oh, okay. So I typed it in, and lo and behold, there's ASTV, and I could hear Graham's, yours, and Seth's voice on there, and the game hadn't started yet, and I'm like, hey, this looks pretty good. You got the score clock up in the corner, and the team names and team scores and stuff. And then you guys started doing the play-by-play. I'm like, wow, they sound way better than what I do. And so the whole weekend they were there, I was tuning in all the time and just really enjoying your guys' commentary. You'd have a show in between. You talk beforehand, have a pregame, postgame show. You talk about the players, and I just thought, wow, that is something really, really neat. And so I hit the like button, and I do a few comments and that, and then Steph started talking about my son Trey. I'm like, hey, that's pretty neat, I'm like, I like that Seth guy. And I should say, I haven't met Seth yet. He's the one guy I haven't met, and I think I have a lot of apologizing to do, because I've been kind of dragging his name through the mud, just because I haven't met him yet.
Oh, Seth's a good guy. He'll take one for the team.
No, but it was really entertaining. The show that you guys put on in Pilot Mound was great, and I'd always, kind of thought it would be neat to do something like that professionally, and I really enjoy doing it for the Eagles. I got over my camera shyness, or whatever. It just didn't matter as long as someone was enjoying it. It didn't really matter to me. So I started watching other shows that you guys were producing, because I thought, hey, this is a pretty neat thing. What else do they have? So I started watching, and I was watching some of Theo's shows on the ice and Wayne's World and stuff like that. And just a coffee with Graham and Off the Wall with Cody Wall. And just everything you guys had on was interesting. Stuff that I didn't know. Stuff that I wanted to know. Like I said, I'm not a hockey guy. I don't know all the stats and that, but you guys made it plain and simple to understand and fun to watch. The guests you guys have on are like, wow, like great guests, like current guests that are like moving on or have already made it to, pro hockey or AAA or, wherever they may be playing hockey, but they're really, really good players. And so I just started watching, and I was watching Wayne's World one time, and Wayne Cozier, one of the CEOs of Trailblazer Hockey, was talking. It's like he was talking right to me, because my son was playing hockey. I had no idea how to navigate this hockey world, and he just was plain and simple saying, this is what you need to do, and da-da-da-da-da, and then put up his website. So that sent me down that hole with Wayne Cozier. Thank you very much, Wayne. So he took on an advisor role for Trey. And then when we were in Ochapowace playing, I get this text message from some guy named Glenn Munford. and he says, "Hey, I like what you're doing. You know, you sound pretty good. Would you be interested in doing games in Saskatchewan?" And I'm like, "Okay, is this spam or like what's going on?" So I replied to him, and he said, "Call me." So we talked and called, and I was like, "Wow, really? You sure? I'd love to be a part of this. ASTV. It's amazing, and let me know what I can do. I don't know much, but." He says, no, we'll teach you and learn, and that's exactly what this brick tournament was to me. It was a big I learned so much, and I think last show I was on with you, I was telling you how when I was younger, I stuttered so much I couldn't even answer the phone. So going from there and now, where I have no problem talking basically to anyone, that's could be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. But anyways, it's I love what we're doing here at ASTV, and I'm so proud to be a part of this. We're just growing and growing and growing and becoming bigger and bigger. And with guys like you that are so knowledgeable on this tech stuff, it's I'm not going to learn it overnight, that's for sure. But it's going to be exciting to learn, and as long as I got guys like Cody Wall guiding me, setting me on the straight and narrow, boy, I don't know. I think the sky's the limit for us here at ASTV, and just thanks so much for bringing me on.
Yeah, no problem, Mark. Always love to hear your kind words. You kind of alluded to it through your kind of involvement here with ASTV. I've been hearing some rumblings that we may be starting to broadcast IHA games going forward, kind of like we do with the Pilot Mountain Buffaloes broadcasting all their home games. I've been hearing rumblings that that may be something that's going to be coming to IHA, as well as been talking to another school in the CSSHL, the Edge School out of Calgary. So you definitely are a contributing factor to getting us going there with IHA, and look forward to seeing where that kind of goes going forward.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited too. I just see more and more teams coming on board, because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to promote your team, your players, your community by partnering with ASTV? Like if the ISA Eagles come on board, it's just going to be nothing but just greatness for these kids. Already, I've done a few interviews with them for ASTV on the Facebook Live, just doing the out and about with SAS Sports show that I'm dabbling with, and it's no brainer really to me that more and more hockey teams are going to be joining up with ASTV. So yeah, I'm excited about doing it. I hope I really hope that a bunch of local teams come on board, because I'm here to cover them, and I can sure find a few more guys to help. I'm sure that they would love to come out and help cover these games, and whether they're filming or doing color or play-by-play or whatever, just being involved, because it's such a great thing that's happening.
It's almost like an addiction. Once you start working with ASTV, you get that, especially if you have a bit of a drive to do it like you said you do, and I know I do. It's kind of, you just want to continue doing more, because it is so much fun kind of getting onto a platform. You mentioned, you kind of, when you were younger, never really would have thought you'd be doing something like this. I kind of in the same boat. Never would have thought I'd be doing something where, talking to a bunch of people online here, but here we are, and it's exciting to continue on here with ASTV.
Yes, absolutely, for sure it is. I just look forward to what's going to happen next, and I hope I can keep up with it. I know I'm a slow learner, and but I learn by doing, and the more I do it, the better it gets, I guess. And if I can be around people that know what they're doing to help and be able to help me out, it's going to be exciting. Another show I'm going to be starting hopefully fairly soon is the Indigenous Sports Show. So being that my wife and my kids are Métis, and they've been part of the Aboriginal sports here in Saskatchewan. I just after talking to all the parents and relatives and that, it's just there's no one that is highlighting these Indigenous kids about their sports, whether hockey, whatever, volleyball, lacrosse, even powwow dancing, stuff like that. There is no one that is covering these athletes and bringing them to light. So I want to be able to interview these individuals and let them tell their story, because there is so many interesting stories of these athletes, of how they got to where they are, where they're going. It's just like, it's one of these things that could just explode, because there's just so much knowledge there. And I know the Indigenous, they like sharing their knowledge. They're based on sharing their knowledge. And this is just something that I think is just natural to happen, where they can share their knowledge, share their experience. So the younger generation coming up can see something like that, hear something that just connects with them and says, hey, I'm in that same situation, and if they did it, I can do it. Or yeah, I know that person. I know that, where they came from, and hey, I'm dealing with the same stuff, and I can be just as great as they are, or better. I can reach whatever goal that I want. And so if I can, reach out and inspire whoever it is to just keep going and take it that much further, that's just awesome. And worst comes to worst, it's a good story. It just, people get to watch and say, hey, that's an interesting story, or yeah, I know that guy, and yeah, I played hockey, or met him at a powwow and stuff like that. Just there's nothing bad about it as far as I see. I think it's just a great opportunity for these athletes to share.
I definitely agree, Mark. There definitely can't hurt to bring light to a group like you mentioned, the Indigenous, where they have so much history that there'll be so many stories that you can kind of open yourself up to hearing, and so many different perspectives. So I look forward to kind of hearing from you as you continue on with the development of this. A couple more questions before we let you go. With it, like you mentioned, being the inaugural season for IHA Academy, and then now joining the CSSHL this upcoming season, did you find that with all IHA's games being exhibition, that sometimes they lacked a little bit of emotion that normal teams or teams in a league or playoffs have, that kind of emotion?
With the ISA, the Indigenous Sports Academy, they get near the end. It was tough for them because there was no playoffs. There was no, that kind of going after the cup type of thing. So I could sense that it was tough there, but I know that in the beginning and throughout the season, not being a part of anything didn't factor in. These kids were there to prove themselves. These are kids that have not made the team because they were Indigenous, or were sat on the bench because they just weren't the right kid, or there were a lot of kids that were passed over. And you look at the kids now, they're some of them been signed to AAA teams. Other guys are going on playing Junior A. My son's going on to play Junior A. Like that. Like, this was a great experience for them, and it took them a while to figure that out. That this is new. This is but it is a team that you're surrounded by your peers, and you're all here for the same reason. And once they got that, kind of in their head. They just started just flowing, just, big smiles, whether they're losing or winning, just having a ball. And yeah, it wasn't until the end when all these, different championships are going on and camps like that, where they started, I missed that. I missed, being in playoffs, and stuff like that. But, now that they are part of it, I think this next year is just going to be amazing for these kids. Like the things that the organizers like Courage Bear, and the general manager, Kevin, just like Kevin Roberts does so much. He does to the team like you do to ASTV. He does all the behind the scenes stuff and just makes things work. But that where this team is going is just it's exciting, and I really hope that they do become a part of ASTV, and I'm able to go out there and cover the games, because whether or not I'm still going to somewhat be involved with the Eagles, I think, forever, because once you're an Eagle, you're always an Eagle. And it was just such a great experience. And yeah, I wish all these kids well. It's just, like, wow, the first Indigenous sports academy ever in Canada. And just, great job. So that's about it. What else you got for me, Cody?
Well, that was about all I had for today there, Mark. I want to thank you for coming on. I'm thinking we'll probably have you come on more times in the future here. Look forward to being the spectator for some of your upcoming shows. I've already, like you mentioned, got a chance to watch you out and about in Sask Sports, and definitely look forward to listening to you when it comes to the Indigenous sports show that you're going to be developing. And like you said, there's a lot of stories out there that are out there to be uncovered that people will love to hear and take notes from.
Yeah, exactly. Take notes from, pick something out of that interview or that story that they can use for themselves. That's what it's about. And just, be able to connect with someone with these stories. Because, just talking to, this past season, talking to a lot of these parents, it's like, man, I wish I could tell that story. That is just so great. And then that's why I came up with the idea of this show. And now I'm going to be able to, and now everyone else is going to be able to hear these stories. I'm really hoping to get for my first guest a 3-generation. So grandfather's grandson, and then the grandson's dad. 3 generations talking about they're all in different sports. One's in professional wrestling, one's in hockey, one's a famous powwow dancer. So you got 3 different genres. So it should be interesting.
I'll be looking forward to it there, Mark. Again, thank you for coming on, and welcome to ASTV. It was a pleasure getting to know you face to face and getting to know you in person there in Edmonton, and all the best going forward here, Mark.
Well, thank you very much, Cody, and can't wait to meet up in person again at some event here and be able to catch up. And and good luck with all your shows. I'll be watching for sure. And just thanks for having me on the show, Cody.
No problem there, Mark. I'll work on the snoring in case we're roommates again.
No, you weren't too bad.
Oh, well, thanks. I appreciate that there, Mark.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Bye for now.
Bye for now. That was ASTV's Mark Kincade, one of our new employees here at ASTV. Like I mentioned, he was a big contributor to our project there in Edmonton, and one of the guys who was able to make it run so smoothly when we were out there. We're going to send it to a quick commercial break and come back and talk about one of the new one of the new products. Mark had kind of alluded to a bit there in his interview. But first, quick commercial break. All right, welcome back, everyone, for our final segment. Just looking at a couple of things that have been in the process here with ASTV. Looks like just recently coming across the board that ASTV is going to be partnering with the Best of the Best Hockey. It's a tournament taking place in Ontario in late August. Unfortunately, I don't believe we're going to be covering the regular season, the 3 weeks leading up to the finals on August 24th. But it does look like the Best of the Best Hockey is going to be wanting to get us to cover their championship rounds. So interesting, getting a chance to go possibly watch that. Doing a little research on the Best of the Best tournament. Looks like out of the Ontario area, which is where all these kids for this tournament are from, a lot of them are coming off of their brick age and coming into this tournament for the kind of finding the best of the best products in Ontario. They're going to be separated into conferences of a Toronto, Eastern, Atlantic, and South Central Ontario. Going to be divided into 4 teams. Going to be have more info on that coming up in the next couple of weeks. As mentioned, just recently coming across the wire that ASTV is going to be working with that. But if you want to hear more on stuff we've talked about in the past episodes, like mentioned, this was Mark's second time. You can find past episodes of Off the Wall with Cody on our YouTube page, Facebook page, and on our website, amateursports.tv. Under the sports drop-down page, when you're checking out our website, you can see a lot of the other stuff that we've been in developments for. I know is always adding things, adding shows such as the Indigenous Sports Show that Mark alluded to. We also have the current AAA hockey show, a prospect show, and On the Ice with Theo that Mark had alluded to there. Those can all be found on our platforms. Be sure to comment and like our posts here. Always like to see the positive feedback and, a little bit of constructive criticism. Never hurt anybody. But before we wrap up for the day, Mark had kind of alluded to in his interview that ASTV has been partnering with a new company, and that company is Innovatronix Incorporated. And looks like we're going to be partnering with them to be distributors of their 12-in-1 MultiSport wireless scoreboard. In just a couple moments there, before we end off the show, we're going to run a little promo for the MultiSport wireless scoreboard, just to give all you guys at home an idea of what we're working with here, as well as other things that have been kind of in the developments. We had mentioned IHA and Edge, 2 schools who have been communicating to possibly see us cover them a little bit more in the future, kind of along the lines of Pilot Mound and the Pembina Valley Hawks girls. But for this week's edition of Off the Wall with Cody, I'm going to sign off, send you to a little informative video of one of the companies we're partnering with in Innovatronix Incorporated, and show you the new 12-in-1 MultiSport wireless scoreboard. So for our final episode of July, I bid you adieu and say thank you for watching, everybody, and have a good night.
Announcing our latest invention, the first multi-sport wireless scoreboard that uses an LED TV for its display. The only gaming scoreboard that has all the feature of 12-in-1 scoreboard. Wireless transmission from the main controller to the LED displays. Use LED TVs for the display via HDMI receiver module. The main controller uses a Type-C charging port and has a built-in, rechargeable battery that will last for at least 7 hours. Here are the modules available. One main controller with 3 sub-controllers. One main display receiver. 2 auxiliary display receivers. 12 pieces clear acrylic glass front panel covers. 1 air horn. The main controller will also use a small LED panel, allowing you to easily switch to 12 different sports. You can also easily change the team names. The clear acrylic panels are used as screen cover, so you can rest your finger on the screen without worrying about accidentally tapping any buttons during the game. The acrylic panel is important because it becomes tiring for the operators, although the system will operate without the acrylic panel. For as low as $990, dealers will get huge discounts from the retail price. We are looking for dealers and distributors around the world. Available on July 2022.